What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 20 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Tyrion Immortal Empires expanded campaign. So as we saw last time, at long last Tyrion acquired the Helm of Dreska power after waiting for like 30 turns or so, and immediately after doing so we were able to unequip the Helm of Dreska itself and acquire the dragon armor of Anarion. Tyrion's got all of his items now and is poised to attack Harganeth and the sort of last major bastion of the Dark Elves in Naggarond. I mean, I did say major bastion. Of course, Malice Darkblade remains, but he's in the Chaos Waste, so he doesn't count. Nobody tell him that, or he'll have a brain aneurysm. Anyway, in terms of what we got to do this time, I do believe there may be something, although what that is remains to be seen. Arathon, alrighty. So you guys still have to move, I take it. So Nashanra, you are waiting to meet up with Admin Tiffian, so actually you would probably be free to move out to sea and just meet up with him fast as you can. I guess one of you could, in theory, follow Nashanra, and then the other one can follow Arathon, at least for now. So you are the... wait, example? Oh, you just need to get up to rank 13 or whatever, and then we can just delete you. Yeah. Or delete you. Use you as a recruiter slash admin. Though at the same time, I continue thinking that it's probably not worth it since we can get lords at rank 14 now and rank 16 in settlements. It's probably faster to just recruit one at a higher rank than bother to use one of these. So frankly, Lorna, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and disband you. I mean, I guess we could reset you and then at least give you Merchant Lord and stuff. You're just short. Well, you know what, let's get you to rank 10 and then we'll just disband you. That way we can get a little bit into Merchant Lord and then give you a dedication to Vol for the industry building buff, and then, yeah. Alrighty, Arathon, I guess you're just gonna go north then in your current state. Oh, I forgot about Natalia, who's supposed to deliver the Hawk Riders. But you can still do so. It'll be a while before Arathon gets his other nobles to get the additional armor on his eagles, so you may actually as well just get 4 Hawk Riders. We'll fill the ranks of the nobles slowly but surely. 2 more of these Hawk Riders. And also, actually, you know what? We'll start them after we move a turn like this. Yeah, that makes more sense to me. In fact, wait a moment. To keep you moving, what we could do is send Yorian here to the edge of this territory. Oh, wait, we did that last time because it's a little bit cheaper in terms of the allegiance. But we got the bonus allegiance, so it shouldn't matter that much. It's just that there's a lot of Dark Elf or Wood Elf stuff that we want to get. Just get the 2 extra Hawk Riders. We also got to get the Sisters of the Thorn, and hopefully maybe a Stag Knight or 2 for Alariel. Might be interesting. But either way, that doesn't change the fact that you, Sir Arathon, are moving like this, and then I guess we will have both of you follow then. Alrighty. And did I move you too far? Well, if I did, you're both gonna die, so good luck. I wish you well. Like so. Alright, Corhill is ready to go and is moving towards the Belagar. Huh. Where are you going, Belagar? I can't quite reach them already, well, immediately, but we'll be in view of the Waterfall Palace shortly. I'm almost tempted to try to set up an ambush against Belagar here. He's got a lot of armies, so it's a lot of potential fighting, but what we can do is use Carthinia as a... yeah, let's go into... huh? Can I go into ambush? View of another faction's army, alright, sure. Go here. Empire's probably not gonna like us killing Belagar, but, well, he took the Waterfall Palace. This will not stand. Durthu's a pretty important figure in Elven lore, after all. Alrighty, and then we will go for the last blessing for you. It doesn't really matter. You can continue holding on to your points for now, although, finally, we could probably get you Cavalry Master regardless. You are our Cavalry Master after all. Alright, like so. Corel, you're in ambush. What do we need to do here in terms of your pointage? Horse Master is not going to be useful to you, I guess. Oh, you have Guardian here. Ward of Kurnos, we could make you a fighter yourself, but perhaps it's time to start leveling Master Strategist for your Exalted and regular White Lions and your main company. And then the Chariots are not part of Master Strategist, they're part of Vanguard Master, I take it. Yeah, let's put 1 point in that just so that I remember that these are the two that need to be leveled up. And wait a moment. The war lines are part of this as well. There's only 2 in this army, but that's fine. And then, oh right, you still need to get to your caster here. So that's Arathel, you're gonna go over there. And then who is Gandalfa? A crushing handmaid. Oh right, you are going to go into, I take it, Kurthinia's army. Crushing will be helpful to them, and then we can have the Handmaiden and the Princess lead the Exalted Illyrian Reaver archers with their range capabilities, while the Silver Helms and such are going to be together with the Exalted Illyrian Reavers, the regular Illyrian Reavers. And we will still need to recruit those guys, but you can't move this turn. Alright, yeah. That looks good to me. At least that's good for now. Oh, actually, for this ambush to work, we need to actually declare war upon you. You are currently at war with Warband and Clan Scryer. Now, in theory, we could let them fight each other, but we're already here, A and B. Once again, I think we can't let the fall of the Waterfall Palace stand. They're allied with Karazakarak. I really don't want to ask the Ironclaw Works or the Clan Scryer to join the war, but at the same time, I also don't want to spend too much influence on the on getting these guys to break their relationship with each other. So I think there's no choice in the matter. We're not currently at war with Scryer, so I guess we're just going to ask them to join war against Belegar. We'll have to knock out Scryer ourselves as well. And Scryer's at war with Belegar and Talzin. And yeah, instead of going after the rats, you go after the Wood Elves. Typical dwarfs. Alrighty, join war against Belegar. Like so. Is necessary. Insufferable alignment. We're not really aligned with them. We're gonna be fighting them too, but yeah, sure game, why not, whatever. Sarah here. You, sir, need to temporarily move down here. Alright, so you're gonna go down here to Kragroth Deep. In fact, you can move past it. And then Admin Electra, you're going to defend Hexgate until we take Eldar Spire and Drekla Spire. Like so. And in theory, you could do some global recruiting, but at the same time... Oh, no, wait, we don't have capacity for global recruitment right now, so you're kind of stuck where you are. Westara, I do believe you will go after the shipwreck. Explore the island. Can we auto-resolve this real quick? Somebody will die, I don't care, because we're going to delete this army in... probably now? You know what, take them... execute captives. Just for the little extra bit of XP. Alrighty, will that get you to rank 10? Yes, it will. Alright, and the only thing I wanted out of you was the dedication to Vol for the additional little extra bit of industry. Then we can delete all this as it's no longer needed, and then we can just disband you, just to double check you have no items. Yeah. And they don't have Scholar, they don't have Merchant Lord, so Archmages are useless, disappointingly, but it is what it is. Also, before I forget as well, we have Dalos, the brand new level 3 convoy. What we're going to do here is we're going to go into Champion of Ulthuan, we're going to grab Warrior Council, and we're going to perform it on the new convoy, giving them an additional 2.5k XP. Like so. And not quite leveling them, but getting at least close to rank 4. With a brand new convoy, which is rather weak, I think it's worth to spend the influence to and get them a little bit stronger. Next up, what do we have here? We moved Electra. Who is Ingmir again? And which Ingmir is this? Oh, you know what? I'm going to rename you to... Do you have a good trait? What do you have? Not really. Yeah. I'm going to name you Guardian Ingmir. Just so that I don't forget who you are, because I keep clicking them every turn, and I would prefer not to. And I'm going to do the same thing for our Melinar here. Guardian Melinar. There we go. Save us a little bit of time on that. You are still recruiting one more turn. We could attempt to attack the Temple of Kamau. I don't see any military presence here. And the temple is rather poorly defended at that. Do we risk it? I guess we risk it. Can you go into regular stance? So actually, wait, I guess we could have you attack because you're a slightly higher rank, right? Character XP and casualty or punishment rate for the sword. You go here, and we're just gonna hope that there's no Kugath nearby that will... what is this? You could reach Temple of Kamau. Oh, we might have to retreat. Damn, alright, fine then. Break siege. And go back into march stance. We will return to Zelimgar. You can sort of stay here. Help with the defense of this for the few turns that you're still left. And then you will have stuff next turn, and we will be able to, I guess, have Zabaran lead until I'm happy with a fire mage. Ideally, we could get an incendiary one. Targeting range plus 50% for spells isn't bad either. And enemy wins a magic power reserve capacity minus 20 for enemy armies in region isn't bad either, especially if you're looking to fight the demonic. I don't really care about the addition of Vernon's Thunderbolt, though, to be perfectly honest. I think, wait, what about, there's Negator, right? You. Enfeebling foe Melkoff's enemy spell resistance and enemies have lower speed, which must be pretty nasty against a Nurglite. Huh, we don't have one of those of the fire variety, do we? No. I feel like I'd prefer a Negator to a Conductor. Not that Conductor is bad, it's just that I feel like that's what I'd prefer. It's 100 influence after all. Yeah. Alright, so let's wait a little bit, we'll see. We'll give it a little bit of time, not too much, but if we can get a better trade, I think I'm perfectly happy waiting for it. Also, while we're here, there's two things that we want to do with influence. First of all, Lore Masters. Now we're at 5 out of 7 already. Oh, I guess we're gonna need more Lore Master capacity. Wait, we get Lore Master capacity out of Mage Towers, right? Yeah, okay, so just like Mages, we're gonna need 1,000,000 more Mage Towers. I was tempted to get to the growth trait, but with the amount of Lore Masters remaining and the fact that we need a lot more of them, I think we'll wait. There are armies that could use casters where we could send Lore Masters to, but there are armies like Nashanra's which need specific types of casters, like Shadow Caster here, for the Shadow Warriors and what we got going here. And thusly, I think we'll just have to wait until capacity. Actually, speaking of Nashanra, you are punitive, right? Yes. Speaking of Nashanra, you will want to get the Nagaryth patronage. So, if I can find Nashanra in here... are you the right Nashanra? Oh, wow. I'm now seeing a problem here. Wait, is this the same portrait? I can't tell. Yes, so you know how we have like 1,000,000 Liaquins? What if there's more than one Nashanra? I have to check. Yeah, see, there's the Liaquins. There, I think this is the only Nashanra, at least I hope it is. Yeah, that's actually quite irritating now that I think about it. The fact that you can't tell which actual lord this is. Click to select, and there's no way to, like, zoom in on which lord this is. Oh, whatever. Nashanra. Like so. We'll transfer the patronage from whoever this is. See, this is a different Cadrill. Damn it, game. Transfer patronage. And I'm going to assume that this is you. Weapon strength plus 10% for spears. Right? Do these guys have more weapon strength? I don't know how to tell. Okay, you know what? Nashanra the Punitive. Like this. Then if we look here, is it Nashanra the Punitive? Yes, it is. Okay, so that's probably what we have to do. Just give everybody a moniker, and that'll deal with it. Alright, there we go. Now you have a tier 3. And how hard are your spears hitting? 53, not bad. They'll get further upgrades via the technologies, but I'll be interested to see what we can get out of the Exalted Spears, what heights we can take them to. Actually, curiously, out of the red line, do we get more weapon strength? Lovely. Alright, usually I wouldn't care about weapon strength for the spears, but it is interesting. Though admittedly with the Sea Helm, we could have given these guys a plus 15 armor and putting them over 100 armor. Well, to 100 armor, which would have also been nice. Certainly another consideration for any further future armies. Anyway, Teclis & Co. You guys have arrived at the Lost Palace, eh? We have a turn of non-attritionage. It's a word. I would like you to land here. And I would like you to land... You done? Yeah, okay, good. I'd like you to land here. And I would like Teclis to land here. The reason being, I want to see if Oshiotla besieges Fate Weaver's crevasse. If he does, we'll rapidly move in to reinforce. If he doesn't, we'll take the Lost Palace first. Maybe because we weren't in range of it with Teclis this turn anyway, so we may as well. How's our mana looking here? Yeah, it's okay. Alrighty, Edmund Werna, you are currently supposed to deliver the Treekin and the Dryads to Alariel as soon as you're done here, basically. So we will have you go into Noble Prestige and hit Eldar Spire, which is defended. And was the game gonna make us fight this? Go into encamp stance, reinforce. I was hoping to move you further to Dracula Spire. What's this gonna say about this? Pyrrhic victory, it'll kill all of our chariots. Okie dokie game. I know that we don't have Henry Mara, who should be leading the army, but that's what it is. Alright, we'll deal with that in a moment. Guardian, no, Guardian doesn't need to be clicked. Alright, selected, whatever. Admin rather, Hordon. I was going to do something with you, but I no longer remember what it was. I was going to recruit something for Teclis. Oh, wait, no, you're still waiting, I think. I wanted Illuminarchs and... yeah, because Teclis has to get some stuff from the humans, since he loves humans so much. Reichland not available yet, then. Huh?
I serve the king.
Okay, wait, so is it just impossible to scroll down to some of our allies? That's not good. What the heck? Talzin. Wait, so... some of the Wood Elves are down here. In fact, all of the Wood Elves are down here, other than the Lotus Yakshi. Wait, does anybody know, is there anything I can do about this? Can I scroll this somehow? Game. No, because we really need those Wood Elf allies. Ugh. Please don't make me confederate the other High Elves just so that we can get access to the other friendly recruitment. Man. And I know that we have Torgavan after Talzin. Wait, no, Torgavan's right here. So who could be after Talzin? They're not in alphabetical order by the looks of it, since we start with Yvresse. Well, annoying, but whatever. Whatever. Vissenland, not available either. And where's the Golden Order? Right here. Do they have Luminarchs available? They do not. And we checked the Cathans last turn, so nothing. Just keep on waiting. Alright, so the Guardians and the admins don't need to move, or at least, well, some of the admins do. Like Admin Adis, you are going to quickly grab this fell cargo, and then you're going to keep traveling southward. Like so. Captain's chest, come on, speed. I was hoping for speed, but whatever. Alright, and down you go. Go deliver to Teclis, please. Unfortunately, with Mad's map on you now, that should be significantly quicker. Alright, that's you. Anybody else? Admin Faya, you're alright, yeah, you're gonna attack in a second. Ferghal, you're waiting. Agiella. You are supposed to join these guys, so let's go down this way. It'll be faster to meet them out here past Dracula Spire. Tech Thief and Influencers. I did not move you. Okay. Tech Thief. Influencer.
Smash it to ruins.
Smash it to ruins. Yeah, that's how you influence. And yes, Steel Tech. I was wondering if you had anything useful out of your levels, and you did. Good job. Influencer, next influencer. Deep Annoying Tiger Cage Isle and these little ratlings here. Next influencer.
Son of Ulthuan. There will
Chaos Dwarfs, failure. You sicken me. Anyway, who is next? Another one at Lucchini. And I do believe that should be it. What rank are you? Rank 11. Or level, whatever. Intimidating, I guess. Like so. Alright, and I believe that's it. So we gotta do that quick fight now, don't we? Oh, let's do a quick blurb. I actually don't know if we have any blurbs, but I feel like we did. Did we recruit anything that we hadn't recruited prior? Maybe, maybe not. We have, Eagle Gate and Manan's Dry Docks. Well, Manan's Dry Docks is a Bretonnian thing, but we may give it a read. We have Jet Lines, which is a Cathay thing, which we can ignore. Being a Cathay unit at the very least. And yeah, it's just those two. Alright, fair enough, fair enough. Let us go to the Eagle Gate. The Eagle Gate, we've already read the Phoenix Gate, and I want to say the Griffin Gate. Anyway, the Eagle Gate was built during the reign of Calidor the Conqueror, who was determined that who was determined that the Dark Elves would never again find Ulthuan so unprepared and vulnerable as they had in the first days of his rule. As with the other fortresses, the garrison of Eaglegate is a permanent body of standing troops drawn from the finest warriors across Ulthuan. To perform such service is one of the highest honors to which an elf can aspire, and should a soldier survive his duty, he will thereafter be treated with respect by commoner and noble alike. Alas, surviving such an assignment is a luxury given to only a few. Between the Dark Elves of Nagaroth and the monsters of the Anuli, a soldier will have to best many foes if he is to return home. Sculpted towers rear from the great wall, streaming blue pennants snapping from the finials and ringed with graceful parapets upon which sit fearsome war machines. Such weapons can launch silver bolts the length of a lance that can punch through the heart of a dragon, or send a withering host of equally deadly darts with terrifying rapidity. From atop the Eagle Gate, one can catch the scent of the sea, a dark and musky aroma that sends a chill down one's spine as one thinks of the cold, evil lands that lay beyond it. In stark contrast, if one turns eastward, one can see the rolling steppes of Illyrian as a golden-brown haze, its bounteous lands warming the heart of many who keep watch this high up in the mountains. Said mountains tower over the fortress, with silver peaks that glitter with magic like a frosting of a Thilmar. Indeed, the magic here is so potent that a simple warrior can see it in the haze of whispering energy that hangs over the mountains. The soldiers make note when the magic blows strongly, for the creatures of the Anuli are drawn to the rush of powerful energy that swirls around Ulthuan. Such magic is capable of almost anything, and many of the creatures drawn to it are unnatural monsters of chaos. Alrighty, next up, let's take Eldar Spire real quick. Maybe with this army reinforcing...
Your best.
You know what? Move just slightly past Hex Gate. I'm a little bit wary of you getting attacked by an actual army, but if we can reinforce a Drekla Spire, maybe we can auto-resolve it instead of wasting our time on it. I mean, they still have those Cold One Dread Knights, which we struggled with a little bit previously, but we got a better army. Or, although, again, without Hennermara, these guys aren't nearly as buffed. Either way, go.
Asuryan wills it.
Alrighty, here we go. Luckily, this is not the map where you have that sort of, I don't know, sort of circular map where you have to go around and around. It is much more difficult to assault and I would imagine much easier to defend. This one less so. Still, the pathing I'm sure will cause us some issues, but at the end of the day this is a much more wide open map and thusly much more vulnerable to our massed artillery fires, who are getting onto the battlefield now, and we're just going to speed up until the artillery is there to start laying their fire down upon the enemy. Plus, I suppose this is the first time where our regular Eagle Claw Bolters and our Exalted Eagle Claw Bolters will be fighting together. So on a quick comparison of the crews of them. Yeah, so the Exalted have a lot more red on them, essentially. Ooh, and their armor is fancier. Looks fancier to me by a fairly big margin. Nice. I like it. I like it a lot. And they should just be about there. I noticed the Gate Guard. Oh, the Gate Guard is a modded unit? Yes. Wait, is it a modded unit? Wait. Huh. I just noticed that the Gate Guard did not have a banner with them, and I don't remember whether Gate Guard exists in the vanilla version of the game or not. But oh well. Anyway, our artillery are now in position, and well, the first of the enemy units just had a very bad day as the Dark Shards got hit by a volley from a couple of the units, and are just about to get hit by another one. And the platform is really not going to help them all that much. We've seen how resistant the units of Cold One Dread Knights are, however, to similar sorts of bombardment, so they're probably going to be able to take a fair few of these bolts, especially since these are the multi-shot rather than the single-target bolts. Although I'm sure they'll take a little bit of damage. It's the Dark Shards that are the, well, I'm not going to say the real threat, because that's just not true. But anyway, I'll speed this up again as we go real quick through at least a little bit of our ammunition here. And just, I guess we can keep taking a look around the enemy's settlement while we do. Which is nice. Alrighty, but we won't do the whole bombardment thing forever. Just a little bit more into the Cold One Dread Knights, and I will get annoyed or bored or whatever you want to call it, and decide that, you know what, maybe we don't want to win this with just artillery fire. And we'll damage the Cold One Dread Knights because we don't really have anything that can fight them in melee, but once they are no longer a threat, all we can do is send everybody into melee and have a nice fight with what enemies remain. There are executioners and stuff still in this enemy settlement, so it absolutely makes sense to fight them as well. Alright, and looks like the Dread Knights are out real quick here, and a couple more volleys wavering. Oh wow, they're going to actually turn around. Good for them. Because the camera jumped weirdly under the ground. I'm not entirely sure what that was for, but all good. And ooh, a unit of Dark Shards comes in for a little bit of range action for some reason, foolishly attempting to fire upon our unit of Shuriken here and getting absolutely demolished by the sheer number of bolts. I think we're ready though. It looks like without those Cold One Dread Knights, we can just feel free to move into the enemy settlement. So we'll speed it up a little bit, like so. Get a few more volleys in, and then all the chariots are going to move in to act as the range units here. And looks like one of the Cold One Dread Knights have actually come back. Fair enough. But the Treekin should be able to hold... Oh, wow, okay, we should be careful with that. The bolt rain will damage us. The two Frost Heart Phoenixes will come down as well, slowing those Cold One Dread Knights thanks to the combination of Frostbite and Blizzard Aura, which is a 15%, but also provides a very nice -10 melee attack. I gotta remember that. That is actually fairly significant, and there's a few other ways I think we have in our roster to reduce enemy melee attack. Could be combined nicely with the Frostheart Phoenixes. Although I was getting those Frost Worms. We're planning on getting those Frost Worms and making a nice frosty armor, especially since we also have Frostheart on the Exalted Tyrannok chariots as well. Whatever other things we have to slow enemies down. Ooh, we can use Swift Shiver Shards from the Wood Elves in theory. That'll be nice. We'll call back to Skjoldun and his whole frosty demeanor and faction, I guess. Anyway, Blackguard of Nagara moving towards us, down to 20 movement speed thanks to Mathland's Spite, and will they be able to reach the Gate Guard or the Lothern Sea Guard? By the looks of it, they're getting closer. Ooh, gotta be careful with those artillery. You can't trust the artillery now. I should just turn them off, frankly, and we'll probably do so in a second. Unfortunately for the Blackguard of Nagron, we're now down to 7 speed. They're not going to achieve too much. And it looks like the enemy has activated Murderous Prowess on those units of Executioners. We will nonetheless charge in with our big pile of chariots just because we can. But of course, this is too many chariots, and they all get in each other's way. And I just charge them into the melee for fun. Obviously, we could just kill them all in range in the same way that we could kill them all with artillery. But since we've decided to fight in melee, we're fighting in melee. Otherwise, the enemy will have no chance whatsoever here. And if we're fighting the battle anyway, we may as well fight the battle. Alright, how we doing here? Looks like the Blackguard of Nagron are just about out, and the bigger portion of the fight will start here. The Executioners are, by the looks of it, being joined by more Executioners. Oh wow, and the Cold One Dread Knight units have actually come back. One of the Handmaidens charges forth into the melee. The Frostheart Phoenixes join in, and this devolves into a big, good old-fashioned brawl, as opposed to just killing all the enemy with the range. Plus, an opportunity to get more levels, ranks, whatever, on the Dryads here, since it is the only unit that we have of the unique color scheme of them. And they will be given to Alariel rather shortly. And I guess we'll also have to decide where we will send Alariel, because she'll be getting her army up and running probably in the next episode or two, since we now have access to most of the units we want to give her. Not the Maiden Guard, but, well, it'll be a while until the guy in Vale is a tier 5, so probably not going to wait around for that. I guess Alariel probably wants to make Chaos weaker because the power of the Everqueen sort of is dependent on how strong Chaos is here. So we could send her up north to be together with Tyrion and go after Archie and, well, okay, it'll be a long way to Archie, but whoever's up there, basically. It seems like the thing to do. The other option would be to have her move to, I don't know, to fight the Sartosans. I'm sure she would be happy to fight the undead as well. I'll think about it. There are some decent options. Sartosa has a lot of units where they are. Although that corner of the world is not looking so bad, we do probably need to send somebody or an army at least to Skavenblight. Not like the Skaven are ever gonna like us, regardless of what we do with the bonus relationships with everybody, or diplomatic relations with everybody out of our unity. Anyway, how are we doing? Bounce power's at about 90%. The brawl yet continues, however, and more enemies have arrived from the right side. Actually, looks like we're the ones who are surrounded. I'm going to get a few volleys from our artillery off, just because we can, and have otherwise moved the artillery pieces in to help out. Now, I wonder, are the Exalted Eagle Club bolt throwers themselves, like not their crews, but are the actual bolt throwers themselves any different? Not that they look the same. Okay, that's the crews. Kind of makes sense. Alright, fair enough. Anyway, the brawl yet continues, and some of the enemy bleak swords as it have peeled away and have begun a fight against the Lothern Sea Guard here. Although at the same time, the Sea Guard do have the advantage of the Tyrannoc chariots here to help them out. And if we really wanted to, we could always send the Gate Guard into melee. They have a massive 67 melee defense and 90 armor, so they can certainly hold ground like nobody's business. And there we go. Looks like those bleak swords are out of the picture, and with them, it looks like the last of the Dark Elves are done. The battle is ours, fought and won, at least at the latter half of it, in melee, just for fun. Alright, there we go. Quick little fight, and certainly silly in some aspects, but hey, at least we didn't destroy them all with artillery, so gave our units the opportunity to fight in melee, including the two Frostheart Phoenixes, all the chariots, obviously, who, by the looks of it, did the brunt of the damage, and even decent work out of the Dryads and the Treekin. Good for them. I could buy the place. Like so. And no spell shield for you, admin. No items at all for admin. I wish there was also a lock button so that certain lords would not be able to acquire items, so that you didn't have to take the items away every turn. It's kind of irritating, but whatever. You... I guess we could just keep going forward. There's no army here at Dreadclaw Spire, and we'll move everybody to hit it next turn. We've got decent defenders, but at the same time it is a... Yeah, it doesn't have a garrison, so it'll be a field battle, so it should be fun. Eldar Spire, I guess we can build this. Again, I'm not sure that we're going to keep the location, but for now, whatever. And, oh, actually, this will take 3 turns. Next turn it'll take 1 or 2, so I guess we don't build that for now. Yeah. Alrighty, then... After we have this, we get 1 blurb, and then we've got potentially this, the Awakening. We should probably do the fight rather than waiting, especially since we bothered to move Edmund and Theus in. And this way, Luther Harkin won't be able to help if they do sally out. Well, they do have, by the looks of it, a solid set of defenders. Alright, blurb first, questions later. Where's the blurb? Manan's Dry Docks, unless I'm mistaken. Yeah, it's a Bretonnian thing, but we've been reading the buildings at the very least, because they're buildings that we've acquired, just not units. As in, not units of other factions. Being one of the few coastal dukedoms, Bordelot has a tradition of seafaring similar to their brethren within Langui. This has resulted in fierce competition over the sea trade and sea routes that link the large port cities together, such as... Huh. I thought I read this already. I guess it's just similar, because I... Yeah, no, this feels familiar, but the second part does not, anyway. Yeah, this has resulted in fierce competition over the sea trade and the sea routes that link the large port cities together, such as Marienburg and Erengrad to the north, and Berikvar and the Tilean city-states to the south. The Bordelot is mostly arable land, with some pastoral land near the coast. The cliffs of Bordelot I've lost my spot, are particularly high and spectacular, but whilst there are some offshore islands, there are very few of the concealed rocks and currents that make Languille's coast so hazardous. Whilst the best port is at the city of Bordeaux itself, there are over a dozen other similar substantial natural harbors, and even more fishing villages, many cut into the towering cliffs. You can't see that on this particular map, since provinces are tiny, but we did just do the Enchantress in the old world, which we can we can see a lot more of the little natural harbors and coastal fishing villages and all that. Anyway, one notable feature of Borderland life is the popularity of Manan along the coast. While sailors everywhere pay tribute to the sea god, the Borderland are particularly fervent, and even the nobles pay more than lip service to him. Borderland nobles tend to think that the domain of the Lady of the Lake ends where the water turns salt. Indeed. Alrighty, then I suppose it is time for some awakening.
For the Everqueen!
You guys need levels. You are a lore master. Let's get you Earthblood at the very least. And what are you again? Auxiliary. Oh, you're actually not supposed to be here. You're going to Teclis. I forgot about you. I gotta remember that you're not supposed to be here, buddy. Alright, what about you? You're crushing. You are supposed to be here. You are supposed to help with the Ithilmar chariots in this particular army. And exalted Ithilmar chariots. Eventually. Although, admittedly, there is still going to be a decent amount of infantry and flyers in this army. So, you know what? Wait on that. It's just that you yourself are going to be on an Ithilmar chariot. So, that's why I feel like it's probably what we'll keep. Either way, you have to have replenished troops. And I guess we'll still get a steamed combatant into retinue trainer, as it is a new army. There we go. And the rest of the stuff we will consider as we go. Horsemaster does not help. Oh, I gotta remember that Horsemaster. We will need multiple nobles in the horse army then. The cavalry army. The Illyrian army. Actually, that reminds me. Did I do the Patrons of the Realm for that particular... Or the Tiranoc, rather, for chariots? No, I did not do Illyrian. Okay, so... Still gotta do that. And then a couple of these guys have to be switched. But we're getting there. Almost all patronage. Anyway, let's go for Handmaiden. Well, I don't remember if we're swapping out of this army, but it's a possibility because we have no basic sort of ranged troops. And thusly, we're saving the points in order to acquire this stuff, so it makes sense that you haven't applied yours. Alright, well, I guess then we're good to go. Annalise, you cannot switch, so... Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Ah, you're not rank 5. I was hoping we could level you up and then go into Lothern Skycutter with Bolt Thrower to help knock down a few towers, but it shouldn't matter over much. Go.
Asuryan wills it!
We will crumble their defenses to dust.
Alrighty, here we go. We've got ourselves a big old defense. Well, they're the ones defending. You know what I mean. Assault, I guess, on an enemy settlement. Ooh, I bet the camera can't go through there, unfortunately. But well, would have been a neat shot, though. I do have to say. Huh? Why? Huh, I wonder, is this like a portcullis that can come down, or are these just decorative spikes? Because they seem to be the same exact spikes up here, and I feel like, what, isn't this a way into the enemy settlements to some degree, especially since there's a ford here? Kind of interesting. Interesting design. Although at the end of the day, I suppose that water is probably full of the bloated dead when being defended by the vampire coast. So, yeah. Anyway, if you're wondering why I'm not really looking at the battle, because nothing is happening. We are firing away at the enemy towers with our single Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower and our Bolt Thrower toting flyers, i.e. the Sky Cutters. Plus, I love the vampiric architecture, so or here in the vampire caustic architecture, I suppose, with all the extra masts and anchors on everything. And it's lovely. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit to bring down the towers and the gate as well. First of the towers has fallen, the second one's about to follow suit, and we're working away at the gate house with a Silak One Eye. In the meantime, the enemy did have a couple of artillery pieces, and wouldn't you know it, these Lothern Sky Cutters with the bows, rather than the bolt throwers, are pretty darn good at sniping single entities, and that includes the single entities making up the actual artillery pieces, rather than the crew. Here we got 3 out of 4 destroyed, with the crew at about half HP. And, there we go. Down goes the... Well, actually, that artillery piece stuck around, though not for long, I'd wager. I'm wondering if the Invocation of Nehek, whether it can revive artillery pieces. I don't think so. There we go. Well, that artillery piece is destroyed. I was watching the Invocation of Nehek come back up. Oh, up to 492 missile strength, though, on those mortars. Pretty good. Pretty good. Better than our Eagle Claw bolt throwers, to be certain. Anyway, with the artillery pieces gone, we are free to mosey on in, and that includes Silak One-Eye, as well as the giant piles of spears. The regular spears will lead, together with the, well, pretty much all the single entities, all the lords and heroes. And we do have the Exalted Silver and Guard here as well, which by the looks of it, it looks like they use a similar model. Well, obviously they're Silver and Guard, but they have a much fancier shield. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Fancy silver and shields. Good. Anyway, they are going to move through this new breach while everybody else blobs up around the breach and the gate, because this, by the looks of it, is going to be a heck of a brawl. This is actually a very difficult sort of pile of units for us, or for anybody, really, to make their way through. Sirens, with their massive physical resistance, their ridiculous 73 melee defense, and their similarly ridiculous 1,000 weight per unit. Out of curiosity. Animated Hulks have 1,000, yeah, they have the same weight, the Sirens have the same weight as the animated Hulks. And the Rotting Prometheans have more, but that's not surprising since the Rotting Prometheans are a much more defensive unit. Though I do wonder how heavy Chitin is. Somebody who knows things about, you know, Krabby Boys in reality, how heavy is Chitin, or how dense, or whatever, I guess is a question that I would be interested in. Anyway, just wondering. Yeah, this is a fantastic blob from the enemies. The super defensive Sirens plus the super defensive Rotting Prometheans with 120 armor and 84 melee defense and all the various resistances that they have. On top of the fact that we have no magical damage to deal with the enemy, plus they're our depth guard in the middle of this blob. They're not going to easily be able to damage Silak One-Eye, but all of the spears and stuff that are down here can't quite say the same, and I'm sure we'll take damage. More importantly, as we can see, not a lot of our spears have actually made it through, as the enemy is using its monstrous infantry to block off their majority here. Which ain't so great. Alright, tried to clear the way a little bit with our Thilmar chariots, but they're not making their way through, so instead we're going to make their way into the enemy settlement through the secondary breach and help out against the zombie pirate deckhand mobs that are trying to defend against the Silver and Guard as we push on forward. And there we go, we got Exalted and regular Silver and Guard fighting together. I would expect that they're going to take a while to actually kill off the zombie pirate deckhand mobs, which does make sense, but at the same time, with the Thilmar chariots charging through, that should speed them on their way a little bit, and it sounds like the deckhand mobs are liable to do much of any damage to the Silver and Guard here. In the meantime, there are a few enemy gunners. We do charge one real quick with the Lothern Skycutters, but a Rotting Promethean gunnery mob unit moves forward, and that's not a unit really we would like the Skycutters to fight, so we're going to back off until they're away, and then simply charge those range units again. Otherwise, like many of these settlement or sieges devolve into, it is once again a big old brawl around the gatehouse. Frankly, once the units that are defending the breach are destroyed, we can just move in more to reinforce and help out here. As it looks like we're not getting too many units through that gate, the enemy is still doggedly blocking it off. Alright, nice little charge from the Silver and Guard, the Thilmar chariots, though the Silver and Guard will charge on in shortly as well. And we're now getting a little bit of support from the Lothern Skycutters, firing down into those Rotting Prometheans, as it's best to use them against units that don't have a lot of models. The Thilmar chariots will then instead take the sort of job or position that the Skycutters were previously doing, which was annoying the enemy range units. And there are still a few, ooh, nice, sending a few of them off the cliffside there. A few of them still defending a couple of platforms here rather than supporting the enemy. It does kind of make sense, and while the AI isn't actually wise to this, you can definitely use those platforms in an annoying manner. by sort of going to the other side, and it kills the pathing, and then the units start trying to go around. It's actually it's actually kind of infuriating pathing behavior, but it is what it is. And at the end of the day, we can simply order the chariots to attack the platform, which just puts them into the blob of enemies anyway, leaving bloody spots behind where most of them were. The bounce power is at about, let's say 75% in our favor, and we are still very much in the fight around the breach here. Again, this is a fantastic combination of defensive units. We're probably somewhat lucky that these are regular Rotting Prometheans instead of Rotting Promethean gunnery mobs, as the enemy would have been able to dish out even more damage. Yeah, replace those with the gunnery mobs, and then replace the twin blade units of Depth Guard, or twin axe units of Depth Guard, probably with polearm Depth Guard. But at the same time, the twin blades are much better against the spears and silver and guard. They should mince them considerably faster. Seems like they're a bad choice. I guess more Depth Guard would have just been a great choice. And then maybe even a big old crabby boy Rotting Leviathan in here. Although, as we know, as we've seen in the past, as a Select One can defeat a Rotting Leviathan one-on-one pretty well. And how are we doing? Still not being able to make it through that gate. Man, it's making me want to play Vampire Coast and use Sirens a little bit more. I genuinely did not know that they had this much mass. I don't know what mass they have in vanilla. I gotta double check. Wait, do Sirens exist in vanilla? I don't even know what units exist in vanilla and what don't anymore. I'm pretty sure they do, right? Either way, the bounce power about 80% in our favor now, but we still have to work our way through them, and with no significant amounts of magical damage, it is admittedly taking a while. Yeah, we definitely need something to deal with problems like this in this particular army, which means either a specific kind of mage that could dish out damage here, which is possible. We're still waiting on mage capacity. Oh, mage capacity is so freaking difficult to get. Generally speaking, when I play any faction like High Elves or Empire, I want to use all the mage lures in at least one army. Right now, we're basically using the Heavens lore and then a million Mist Mages. Well, not a million, but like, we got a lot of Mist Mages out of the Confederation, so we're making a lot of use of them because we don't have regular mages. At the very least, not a lot. Though some of them are now moving on. Speaking of the Mist Mage, looks like we did send ours in to apply a little bit of the extra bleed effect to the enemy, though not to the Sirens, because they're also immune to contact effects, wouldn't you know? And it looks like the Mist Mage has taken some damage. I'm not really concerned about him actually getting killed in this blob, however, as they can simply just get on out of there. It's not like the enemy is making their way past Select One, who's at a solid 24,000 damage at this point, and relatively undamaged himself. And ooh, it looks like one of our Ithilmar chariots has gotten destroyed as we did charge them in once again to the rear of the enemy ranks. Our single entities, our heroes, which have been fighting in here the entire time, are also taking damage. Unfortunately, while the handmaidens have magical bows, they don't have magical spears, and thus don't do all that much more damage to the Sirens than anybody else does. But oh well. Though perhaps in retrospect what I should have done is maybe move the handmaiden away and just used her bow to try to snipe those Rotting Prometheans. Might have been able to kill them a little bit faster by bypassing their physical resistance, as their missile resistance isn't actually all that high. Oh, they do also have a little bit of flame resistance though, and we do have fire damage on those bows. But oh well. Either way, the mount's power is rapidly rising in our favor. The enemy Vampire Fleet Captain still stands, but at half HP, and ooh, there we go. It looks like the enemy morale is at long last and beginning to crumble, and soon the enemy units will begin disintegrating. I'm sure that the chariots, whether the Skyborn chariots or the ground-pounding chariots, have destroyed the enemy range units, and that helped out in giving the final morale shock to the enemy, making them melt, and giving the battle to us, and depriving the Awakened of their capital. Who has not melted away here? What the heck is going on? Oh, there's one unit over here. Okay, well, it's It's about to be gone. And it's a polearm unit. I really don't understand why the AI would keep a unit like this back. Maybe the AI is programmed to think that the player will rush its sort of, key points, these locations, but there was no plan of that. Alright, there we go. I gotta say, the combination of the Depth Guard and the Sirens is so dang good in terms of holding ground, and blocking off the gate meant that we were not able to get a lot of our troops inside the enemy settlement for a while, and were brawling for absolute ages. Select 1eye, 25k damage, not too bad at all, and of course the Sky Cutters expended all their ammunition, so did quite well as well. At the very least, the basic variant, the Bolt Throwers had to contend with the enemy towers, together with the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower as well. Otherwise, we got decent work out of some of our chariots as well. 12k damage, we've got about 10k on the best performing Exalted Silverin Guard. Though again, a lot of them were blocked off from actually entering the enemy settlement, so yeah. Anyway, good fight, and there goes the Awakening, the capital of the Awakened, go figure. Great Eagle for Annalise. I don't know what Mount Annalise will have, we shall see. Jungle of Webs secured, Aminar's Preemptive Strike. Well, isn't that interesting? There had been rumors that the mad vampire pirate king, Luther Harkin, was attempting to slay the great sea beast, Aminar, ancient protector of the city. As the Sea Lord of Ulthuan, Acelin would not allow this threat to go unopposed, and laid waste to the vampire coast with the full fury of the High Elf fleet. Luther Harkin took to the seas and faced down the elves aboard his infamous ship, Dread Abyssal. Yet Acelin was the herald of Mathlan and had the sea god's favor. He beseeched the Lord of the Deeps to help destroy this hated foe of the sea, and his prayers were answered. Something vast and scaled broke the surface beneath Dread Abyssal, and her keel broke like a dead sapling as she was lifted out of the water. Like a kraken of the deep, the monster had eyes the size of chariot wheels and row upon row of ivory teeth in an obsidian gash of a mouth. Its fangs closed on the Dread Abyssal's hull, and the ship exploded in a welter of smashed timber and drowned bodies. It was Aminar. With the Mad King's death, the vampire coast was now safe for the elves, who began the slow but exciting prospect of colonizing the eastern coast of Lustria. For too long had the elves been constrained to the shores of Ulthuan. It was time for the age of expansion to begin again. Alright, isn't that lovely? Wait, can we leave this place? Yes, we can. I just figure... Wait. You guys can't? Okay, well, I guess we'll wait then. I don't imagine they have another army that they could besiege us with. Yeah, also somebody in the Discord pointed out that there's a thunder lizard here. There we go. This thing in the mod was so ridiculously gigantic, but pretty darn fun to use. You get pets. Alrighty. I think in the mod, its head is so far past the screen that it was not visible most of the time, so no pets. Anyway, Annalise, you've reached rank 12, which means we can get Regent of the Kingdom now. Or we could get Dark in the Skies. Basically a plus 10 reload, but if we go past this, well, we have to go all the way to Master Archer, so it'll take several points. Maybe it is better to get Dark in the Skies first. Let's go with Dark in the Skies. Alrighty. Anyway, nice fight, and Luther Harkin's strength as a faction is mostly broken. I do know that there are some medicinal plants here, but I don't really want the border gore that comes with the with this territory. Medicinal plants is the only thing that we're missing, the only trade good, rather, that we're missing right now, so it's, well, it's one that we should watch out for. Anyway, anything else we gotta do this particular turn? I think everybody has moved. There is buildings, potentially, though most of them should not be built now just because it's faster, or it will be faster next turn once we get the buff. Although, there's something in Torkar. No, it's still 3 turns. I think we wait on everything. Unless there's something that takes 1 turn, which I doubt that there is. Ooh, Jungle of Webs. We can pop into the Rebuild Lost Splendor, though. And we definitely don't need the Elven Forge here. Nor probably the Rally Field. The rest is fine. Again, I haven't decided whether I want to actually keep the place, but Yeah, whatever. We'll see. Also, oh, the border gore, the terrible border gore. I'm just going to pretend, I'm just not going to look at it. Anyway, I guess we're going to skip an assigned building upgrade, Lord not moved, outpost upgrade. Let's end the turn, see what happens with Belegar, and regardless of what does, we should have the invocation of Vol, which I'm quite interested in. All right, end the turn. I hope I did not forget anything. About to find out. Alrighty, Kugath is so far too far away from us.
Well met, friend of
Stelton, what you want, buddy? Military alliance. Again, I'm ignoring the military alliances for now because I fear weakening the factions unnecessarily, and Gestalten started doing good as soon as we basically destroyed all of Wulfric's main stacks, and then Gestalten came in and started taking all of his territories after we did all the work. That's AI allies for you. Always makes me a little bit salty, but at the same time, with the mod that allows us to, you know, buy and sell settlements regardless of borders, it makes it a little bit easier to sort of fix border gore for allies. I always end up giving away like dozens to hundreds of settlements anyway, and wellity, if it isn't Belegar, you have done a tremendously evil deed by attacking Durthu here. And it looks like you're going to get ambushed by the lions and the tigers now, and the flying lions and whatnot of Corel. Should be a fun time. Away we go. Alrighty, for order indeed. Here we go. The beards must be woven into cloaks. For order. We've got Tigermen working together with the War Lions as well, smashing into the rear ranks of the enemy. I was hoping to go with the Tigermen, the Guandao variant, rather than the Tiger Warrior Stalkers, but all good. The Stalkers do look pretty darn good fighting with those white lions, I have to say, especially as they've got white manes themselves, and the red and white actually really works very nicely with the Tigermen. Huh. Yeah, this color scheme, that's really great. The dwarfs are obviously in a bad day. They got charged by all the chariots and by all of our armor-piercing, armor-sundering white lions. And the balance of power has rapidly shifted to about 90% in our favor. We began a duel with between Corel and Belegar, but Belegar moved away, though he did use an ability that somehow killed half of the Pure Main Company. I don't know what that ability was. And it wasn't one of the runesmiths because Belegar got all the kills. But not important, I suppose. What is important is that the enemy is just about done already. The balance of power about 95% in our favor, but what do you expect from an ambush like this? And by the looks of it, only Belegar himself... actually, wait, Belegar is not unbreakable, is he? I don't believe he is, meaning he's actually going to book it on out of there rather soon before he can complete a duel with Corel, but, well, all good. At least they can whack away at each other for a little while before Belegar flees. There we go. And Belegar breaks and only the Ghost Pals remain, one of which has just been killed off by the Celestial Line, which unfortunately also does not have magical damage. This army needs magical damage. All of our armies need magical damage, and with the dearth of mages, it's been a bit of a problem. That's why we're trying to get those Lore Masters rather to everybody, since they have a magical damage causing aura. Only for 4 units, mind you, but it's better than nothing. Anyway, one Ghost Pal remains, and it's King Lun Ironhammer himself. Corel will attack him, and Corel also doesn't have magical damage. And I think since he has a purple weapon, but a purple weapon without magical damage, he could use a Lichbone Pennant. But frankly, a lot of our armies could currently use a Lichbone Pennant. Like, I was thinking about putting it on Select One-Eye, and he does affect a lot of things in that particular army, but yeah. Hopefully we can get a few more. Frankly, we've had a decent amount of purple items because of the convoy system where we've been acquiring them, and I've been sort of slowly putting them to new lords, as I don't want to, you know, put too many in a single army because it feels obnoxious. But we don't actually have all that many in the way of, well, blue items at all. There's only a few. and certainly not enough gray or green items. Go figure. We gotta get that tech as soon as possible. It gives us, I think, 30% bonus faction-wide magic item collection drop chance, whatever. Hopefully soon. Anyway, with the last ghost spell defeated, about to be defeated. There we go. With the last ghost spell defeated, Belegar's army falls. I do believe Belegar was run down by lions or by tigers. I suppose it doesn't matter ever much. As he is dead, we're going to take back the Waterfall Palace and avenge Durthu and get the all of Athaloran back into Azrai hands. Alrighty, there we go. Generally speaking, no problem. Belegar apparently has some kind of ability that he used on the Pure Main Company. It killed off exactly half of their models, but did no further damage to any of the other units. I'm not entirely sure what it was, but it was pretty interesting, because I immediately healed them after they took the damage, but it was just dead models, and thus they couldn't heal up any further. And he got exactly 40 kills for killing 40 of the Pure Main Company, the other two going to one of the Ghost Pals. Now, the Ghost Spells were a major problem for this army due to their massive physical resistance. This army, again, has no magical damage dealers. Yeah, we desperately need that Lore Master. Frankly, like, a lot of our armies are going to need the Lore Masters because, yeah, we have a surprising lack of magical damage otherwise available. I'm going to try to remember that this army will also lack the same, so it's going to be a problem. Anyway, I like the money, but we're going to heal up just to make sure that the Pure Main Company is in full HP. Otherwise, the battle itself was no problem at all. Declared war between Heshuatla and the Heralds of Ariel. Oh, wow.
I see we are
Everybody's attacking the Heralds of Ariel. This is quite interesting. I guess they're doomed. A bit of a shame, that, but what can you do? Military alliance payments, no. There's no need for that. Also, you should have helped Durthu, instead of just sitting there.
The dead come calling. What do you seek?
The dead come calling for military access. I'm going to say no. They do love us, but there's a decent likelihood that they get into a fight with the lizards. And frankly, if they overrun the dwarfs, I would not be too upset about it, let's say. These other undead are reasonably friendly with everybody around. I'm going to say no for now, but there's a decent likelihood that we get a defense alliance with them eventually. And then you, Guest of the Raja. High likelihood that the dwarves here attack us, so we'll see. Carrick Ziflin attacks Torgavan. Alright, well, I had previously said that we should wipe out Ziflin for the non-stop trespassing that they're doing here. And I guess they're going to attack our Wood Elf allies now. Yep, enter war inside of ally. And they're going to attack... Oh, of course they immediately frickin' attack Marienburg. Well, it is what it is. We're just going to have to make sure to try to fight them off, though we have very little in the way of range damage. At the end of the day, though, the enemy has very little in the way of melee, and we have walls, so fight.
Understood.
Alright, here we go. I think we always knew that Ziflin would eventually be a problem. Ever since we got Marienburg, they simply chose to permanently trespass, parking their army outside our settlement, perhaps waiting for an inevitable attack upon us. Kind of obnoxious behavior from the AI, to be perfectly frank, that it's just perfectly willing to spend like 20 turns trespassing for no reason whatsoever until they decide to attack. And it's not like they were raiding us or preparing to strike within the next few turns or anything. It just doesn't care about the hits to diplomacy and whatnot. But anyway, what's important is that we have walls, and though the enemy army is, well, greater than ours in many ways, and we would have been destroyed in a field battle, I don't think that they can pull this off. We have a lot of towers firing at them at the same time, and they may be basic towers, but that is a lot of basic fire from those basic towers, and the archers firing down upon them, focusing down those units of Iron Drakes. Plus, once again, we do have those White Lion defenders, and as we've learned already in several battles, White Lions do pretty darn good against the dwarfs. A reasonably high melee attack, but most importantly armor ascending to help everybody else fight against them. And I guess their attack goes up +5 with Asur flank them. Alright, well, it looks like the first of the enemies are going to start to climb. The Iron Drake's climbing is kind of not going to work out super well for them. And again, while I don't use butt ladders, I guess, well, the AI will obviously still use them and magically climb, but all good. I don't think it'll make that much of a difference, to be perfectly honest. Bounce power is in our favor at this point already, though admittedly only a little bit. And with the enemy starting to climb the walls everywhere, we are also starting to make our way up there as well, with all those White Lions. And what are these? Thunderers, Drake guns. They have no chance here. Those great axes are gonna hack them apart. Even without red line buffs or anything, and frankly, not a lot of tech buffs. Well, actually, for the White Lions, I don't think have gotten any tech buffs so far, so they will eventually get a lot stronger. Admittedly, it is only turn 55, 58, 60, I don't know, it's 50-something. So it's actually not that late in the game, in theory. Though in practice, I think we've done pretty well. Anyway, we did shadow the enemy Thain here and have led our noble against him. And between the noble and the White Lions hacking away at him, I don't think this Thain has a prayer. Though it would be nice if the tower actually landed a few of those shots, I think it'll be good. Enemy archers or thunderers are trying to fight the Lothern Sea Guard, but by tiring themselves out climbing on those butt ladders, they are not going to win the day. Though I actually would be interested to see who would carry the day between a unit of Lothern Sea Guard and a unit of thunderers, or a unit of quarrelers in melee. Not the Great Weapon variant, of course, because the Great Weapon variant would win, but the regular variants. And we do still have the enemy lord here. Here somewhere. He's so short that I had to. There he is. He's still fighting, taking a little bit of damage. And Rurik Granite Hand, eh? I'm sure he'll bonk a few of those poor High Elf spears, but his Thane has in the meantime been defeated by the noble here. And we'll soon lose his head, and then we can simply send the noble to do same thing to Mr. Granite Hand there. One more hit, I do believe, or maybe two, depending on that. All right, now one more. Wow, 287. Okay, there we go. The Thane falls, and we reposition. This wall remains fine, and any enemies climbing it are having a pretty bad time. Here, there's another unit of quarrelers, and we move some pikemen in to defend. We do have, I guess, an outpost from the Imperials here. And the pikemen are going to be reasonably helpful. And hey, speak of the devil, quarrelers with great weapons. But the pikemen are actually doing pretty good against them, although I do wonder how damaged these quarrelers were, A, from, you know, approaching the tower walls under fire from our elven archers and from the towers. And then, of course, they got further debuffed by being tired. Very tired, I should say. Armor down to 64, melee attack and defense 33 and 24. It does make sense as to why the units of pikemen were doing pretty well against them. Anyway, it looks like the leftmost portion of the wall has effectively been won. The dwarfs may have climbed it, but most of them have been hacked apart. I like to see the sort of defensive units, like the Lothern Sea Guard, sort of sitting at the walls and, you know, defending, while the White Lions sort of run around on top of the walls and chase down and kill various enemies. And not long now, as I do believe these dwarfs are doomed. 'Twas their folly. Yeah, I had thought about attacking Ziflin, and I knew I'd regret it. I knew I'd regret not doing so. But I figured we'd try to make friends since we went for unity, but I think even when we saw that Zyflin had parked their army here, I had said that they pretty much always get into a conflict with the Wood Elves, so it's pretty much inevitable that we fight them, even if we didn't share territories. Anyway, looks like the enemy lord is done, and so the enemy army shatters, and the battle is ours, and frankly, we didn't actually take all that much damage. The biggest portion of damage to this unit of High Elven archers with heavy arrowheads, who did get clipped by a nice volley from some flamethrowers, from some iron drakes, and that's about it. Good job. Marienburg is kept, and, well, it is a big old trading hub, so it's important that we do keep it. Alrighty, there we go. Frickin' Zyflin dwarfs, man. I knew it was a mistake to keep them alive, but, well, you just can't have the whole, power of, I don't know, friendship and whatever, that some may want. And this is the second dwarfen faction that's causing problems, and, well, they're just going to have to pay for it. And at least we get to keep Marienburg. The enemy dwarf force that was trespassing here for like 20 turns was always going to be an irritant, but at the very least we don't have to send an army out there. And what is this? Another little force attacks another walled settlement. You know, I think I'm just going to auto-resolve this one. I think we all know we would win again. Again, it's mostly a ranged army, and while they have some annoying things, we just focus the enemy down with our towers in the exact same way. How do we know? Because it's the exact same set of troops that we have, except we have a couple of High Elven archers, rather than the Lothern Sea Guard and the crossbows there, so yeah, just whatever. Frankly, we probably took more damage auto-resolving, but I felt like there was no need to fight it again, and I'm going to assume that they don't re-attack this. Alrighty, well, we're just going to have to send an army out there now, and nobody except Bellinaire is close by, so Bellinaire, yeah, I guess you got some dwarf killing to do, bud. Military alliance with who? Torgavan. Well, I mean, we did just come to their aid, but anyway, military alliance with Vidrioth. Again, I'm gonna say no on the military alliances, because I don't trust them right now. But the War of the Beard is really kicking up, the second one anyway. Nemesis Crown lost. Did I see? Oh, I was gonna go kill you. Huh, I guess they lost their main stack. Oh, interesting. Wait, so... Nemesis Crown lost, but Todbringer didn't pick it up, I assume. Huh. So, did they seal it? Shouldn't there be a thing that's like, the Nemesis Crown was sealed, yada yada yada. Hey, a Beard Weaver, very nice. Hero Action Succession is plus 10. Oh, wow. That's Tech Thievery, won a battle against the dwarfs. Okay, so apparently there is a lot of value in fighting the dwarfs. Those are some good ancillaries. Kid Drill, which one are you? Why did it... Okay, whatever. Great Eagle for Eslanan. I don't know who you are either, buddy. There's too many lords and heroes running around. And Great Eagle for Selena Starguided. I do know who you are. You... Oh. Admin Werna Griffin. No. Spawnified. Spawnified? Who is this? Who is this? It won't tell you who it is. Oh, the frickin' UI, man. Who made this? Anyway. Somebody who's rank 7 got spawnified. As for who, it's not Admin Werna. I have no idea who's rank 7. Hey, Toranrak. Norska, Monolith of Bjorkil, Old World, Marienburg, Port Unicorn Gate. We'll read some of those, but construction cost reduction. Glittering Host, Sisters of Avalorn, Dragons, Hawk Riders, Invocation of Vol. Alright, so certain things are coming up, though again, we'll skip the ones that are not of our faction. Who the heck is rank 7 that got spawnified? I will maybe try to find them between the episodes. It's probably one of the follower lords somewhere, but there's so many of them that I...
Time is of the essence.
Yep. I don't know where they are. Anyway, we're just about out of time. There is, however, one thing I would like to do, and that is... pop off that Invocation of Vol. It's a 30-turn cooldown, after all. Though, I do also wonder, wait, this thing... It's a -5 for Invocation of everything but Vol. So yeah, we just gotta pop off Vol then. Invocation of Vol. Let's see what we got here. We have 2 staves of solidity, so we don't need them. Blessed Tome, leadership +8 and expert charge defense plus cannot die in a very small area though. Blade of Sea Gold is nice due to the armor destruction, and then this is the 3rd Sapphire Guardian Phoenix that we have, but it is effectively a 15% spell resistance to the entire army, as it is an infinite effect range. So I think out of these, it's probably the best one. Powering up a single Lord with the armor destruction is nice. And admittedly, the missile block chance is also quite lovely. Which does actually tempt me a little bit to get a second one of these just for the missile block chance reduction, even if not the armor reduction. And we do already have 2 Sapphire Guardian Phoenixes. This would be our second Blade of Sea Gold. Yeah, I'll go for the Blade of Sea Gold. Unfortunately, we didn't get any of the really good ones, and that's the second time we had bad luck with that, but all good, I suppose. Warrior cancel, all characters in target for... Huh. Confusing. Why is that still up? Oh, I guess it's showing us the cooldown on it. Like, this won't disappear until we can use it again. I presume that's what it's saying.
Great relics for great
Though I can't guarantee it. Anyway, with the Invocation of All popped off, we are out of time, folks, and I am going to call this particular episode here. Next time, we will reclaim the realms of the Wood Elves and, you know, give them back to them. Casting down various dwarfs. We have to destroy Ziflin as well, and... It looks like Carcassonne is no longer friendly with them. The Empire isn't liking them too much either for the trespasses against Eataine. Trespasses against Karazakarak. Even Karazakarak does not like Ziflin? Huh, that's interesting. Oh, wow. And Karazakarak is certainly not liking us very much. How are these guys feeling?
Can wait. Our meeting cannot.
Well, I mean, it's not like they didn't attack the Wood Elves, so they're going to have some problems here either way. Ooh, let's see this. Some neat stuff. Anyway, for the like 50th time, we're out of time. I'm calling it here. Next time we kill more dwarfs and do more stuff all over the map, go figure. So stay tuned for more. Maybe even destroy Fate Weaver's crevasse if Oshiodal is into it. Could, I guess, use the turn to heal up and then attack it. If he's still here, we may be able to push towards it with him. It's not like we care about taking it for ourselves. And then if we could get him to fight the Slaaneshi and just keep taking the Southern Chaos Wastes, that would be just tops. Anyway, more Tyrion to come, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below as they will determine how long this campaign continues to run for. Sad to see the Wood Elves under attack by Mazda Mundi as well, but what can you do? All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.